Good morning, guys. It is 4/29/2024. I'm just doing a market preview, weekly preview for the market. I didn't do it last night. Sorry for the delay here. Figured I'd do it in the morning. So, one thing I want to notice right away is we did have this pullback into the trigger zone here. Um, I think, price is weakening from both directions. You could see by the tails on all these bars here. There's tails here, 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 here. There's tails all the way up. So while this was strong, I still think this gets a second leg down. I just don't know how far we might drift up based on that. Now, with that being said, I think one tick below this bar, so we're at 51.05. So 51.0475 is going to possibly has a high probability of getting us momentum to the downside. That does reversing back up at that point. We'll see what today brings. This is currently looking like an inside bar. I don't know if they have the same highs, but there's still a whole day to determine what's going on. There's really no news today. But I think at some point, if it's not this bar, if it's not this bar, then tomorrow it'll be this bar. But the next time we pull below the previous bar's low is when we'll get a second entry short, and I don't know why that marker is doing that, but it'll be considered a second entry short, and that should give us momentum to the downside and possibly play out this second leg here. Um, So that's as far as where the market's at from a technical perspective. Let's take a look at our survey here, our AAII survey, basically measuring the bigger pockets in the market that are more retail than anything else, and where they think the next 6 months are going to be. So from last week to this week, our transition was mainly from bullish to the neutral zone. And I think that reflects clearly on what we're going to see on these market reports, right? Where we have there has been future contract pullouts from the long side more so than the short side, but overall the open interest is pretty even. And you're going to see something similar to the retail traders here. And I think overall, this shows that people are still pretty strongly bearish, but like overall, our consensus, like between retail and big pocket investors, we're seeing more of a neutral feel overall between the two. Slightly more bullish, but I think that bullish reads a little off when you look at like the bigger pockets because they're pulling more off the bullish side than they are the bearish side. So I would say they're probably leaning a little more bearish overall, but like in total we're more neutral, and I think that reflects here as well. I remember last week I mentioned that this survey is done, and it's more of like it's done with more recency bias, right? Like they're asking about the next 6 months, but they're asking this week. So like whatever they've seen in the market this week is what they're probably basing that on. And you could see that there's people flowing from bullish to neutral. And this is also important because we saw the week before the transition to bearish. So I think that further solidifies the concept of yes, we're neutral, but I think we're more bearish leaning, even though we're not seeing the data fully catch up yet. And I think that also aligns with what we're seeing in the technicals, right? Like we're seeing us float back up, making it confusing because this is a pullback in um, a bear trend at this point. And so that's basically what's confusing the market to make it more neutral. And I think that these two data points play out with that. You can let me know what you think on in the comments. As for the A and D line, I mean, we're still very much bearish. I don't see much change. If I draw my really crappy line here, maybe this is a retest of this breakdown or breakout, and maybe we're gonna get a second leg down, or maybe we continue back up and recover. Either way, but I think this is possibly a retest more than anything else of this breakdown. So maybe we do get that second leg. I think that's probably more probable, and I think you see that across all indices. The Dow is a little more roundy than the SPY or S&P 500. We did get that actual test here, and then maybe this is the second leg for the Dow. And the New York Stock Exchange overall looks the same as the rest of them. It's just a little more dramatic, I would say. The one that's really stand out, and it's been standing out for quite some time, is the Nasdaq, right? So we saw, and I'll mention this quickly, just saw this divergence, huge divergence, and now this breakdown of this channel, and this is possibly retest from a price perspective, and you got that right around in this area. So that was here. We're also seeing some divergence there as well, right? Like, I'm not a big divergence guy, but it's there, so it's worth mentioning. So it's like this, and then that same little bit on this bottom part is in the opposite direction. So just something to take note of. Maybe this is another second leg that we get a measured move from this leg here. But that's the market weekly preview. I think this week's going to be more consolidation after some big down days, down weeks. The last 2 weeks, I think we're going to consolidate a little bit more before we find what we're doing. But I think the trigger for the daily, right, that's going to power us into maybe the next week being a bearish week, is that close below a previous bar. But we want to see it with strength, right? We want to see like one of these bars, like this bar or this bar, like a bigger bar closing on its low. A bar that says, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here to stay." I think that gives us. I think it gives us an opportunity and some conviction going into next week, saying it's going to be a bearish week. As for now, I think this week is, again, just going to be a consolidation week. Maybe get some big moves here or there, swings up and down this week. But I don't think we're going to get like those big trending days that we got in previous couple weeks. So best of luck trading this week, guys. Sorry the video came out a little bit late, but I think there's still great content in here, and I hope you guys enjoyed.